Hello, mate. You alright?
Aye, not bad.
Getting relaxed there on a Sunday. So were the players at the end, weren't
I've got to admit, my eyes were dropping towards the end of the second half. So
they?
I managed to stay awake because I always used to have a tradition of when I watched Newcastle in the FA Cup back in the Pardew days of falling asleep for the second half, waking up at the end, and then still thinking, "Shit, I wish I hadn't woke up." So
Yeah. First off was keeping me awake anyway. A bit of a hangover the day, but the hangover kicked in for Newcastle late on. I thought first half very good. Second half just in patches really won it, especially towards the end, just passing it around the back. Happy for the referee to blow his whistle.
I think from a neutral point of view, even the first half was pretty end to end. It was flowing. It was
Mm-hmm.
decent. I was just
What?
I was thinking to myself, that since the lockdown, we've actually strung some, well, Man City first half apart, strung some passes together, looked like it's been better football to watch, even for the neutral. I thought, if you're a neutral, why on earth would you ever watch Newcastle United in the last 10 years? It's
Mm.
been, especially under Rafa, like, we've got steel now, but it is desperate to watch at times. But since the lockdown, it's been pleasant on the eye, and it's been, I think maybe because we've broke the shackles, the pressure's off,
Mm.
which is probably more mystifying why the second half was played at such a low key pace and why we didn't go for it towards the end. It seemed happy with the draw, and they probably seemed the most likely winner if it was going to go on a bit longer. So draw is not the end of the world.
Rex, so are you saying Brucey Ball is better than Benitez Ball?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be too good. I think both, earlier in the season it was pretty tragic to watch, but reasonably effective. I think it's something like the Rafa model. But I
Mm.
think since lockdown, I mean, credit to the players and credit to Bruce for keeping them fit. I think they look sharp, and it's. I think the pundits were saying today that Sheffield United have taken a few games to get back in the stride, and I think we have hit the ground running in terms of fitness, which is pleasing, and we've played some okay football at times. So, I think looking sharp is was important because you know, we could have easily lost the first 2 or 3 games, then still being in a relegation battle, despite being on
Uh,
35 points. It was 8 points was a decent comfort, and I wasn't too worried. But I think if you lost the first 2 or 3, we could have been dragged back into it. The Bournemouth game would have been very difficult. The Villa game would have been difficult. Today you'd have been biting your nails. You'd been edge of your seat. I think the fact that we can play with freedom makes it easier as well. So I think, and that's probably why it's opened up a bit because I don't think there's the pressure there now. There's certainly
mm.
none. Disappointingly, I think it was always going to be a tall order to catch the teams above. If we'd won today, we could still certainly finish above Burnley, possibly. Everton, it's going to be a tall order. But I think we're just, we've actually been, we've been the victims of our own success now, whinging about mid-table. So, I'm not complaining at all. Really, I would have taken this certainly. I think if you look at the West Ham game as a single game, you can look back and think it's a bit flat. It was a bit disappointing. But look at the bigger picture. The games since the lockdown have been really good. But annoyingly, the cup game was frustrating that we didn't play with the same freedom.
Aye. Unbeaten in 6. Now in the Premier League, Newcastle still unbeaten after lockdown. Seems to have done us some favours, doesn't it? But towards the second half, you could see the players looking fatigued. I thought the subs were uninspiring, really. We didn't see anything of Carroll, of Lazaro, of Matt Ritchie.
Yeah, I thought we might have tried to get a few balls forward to Carroll, get a few set pieces, corners, but never materialised really. I think it was probably brought him on more for a defensive role for the balls coming in at the other end, but we didn't really look like getting a winner, did we? To be honest,
Yeah.
last 20 minutes it was just. I think we're lucky that we're struck back straight away because I think if they'd held on to the lead for 5 or 10 minutes, I think we would have lost. I don't think we had much in with today, so getting the goal and avoiding defeat against Moyes was quite pleasing, I guess.
Right. Cheers, mate.
What is your prediction for the new manager next season? If the takeover happens, what's the consensus among the fans that you know? Because I think, do you rule with your heart and say Brucey's done a decent job? You keep him. I think you've got to be cutthroat, and unfortunately for me, I would get rid of him. But
I think amongst a lot of fans, it's mixed. Like you'll see players saying Brucey deserves a chance. it'd be very harsh if we let Brucey go now after the work he's put in. But for me, if the new owners came in, I don't think they'd trust him with hundreds of millions, with getting big signings through the door, with pushing on, because he's never shown that in his managerial career. So why would you trust him with it? I mean, don't get us wrong, he has done a good job, but I think Bruce would be gone by Christmas. If they give him a chance, he'd be gone by Christmas, because I don't think it would ever work for Bruce, because as soon as it went wrong, it would be Bruce that would get the blame, not a new star signing. It would always go back to Bruce.
I mean, there is going to be a transitional period as well. So there is an argument. There was an argument earlier in the season, if the takeover happened, of bringing Rafa back and getting the transition period. But if you're going to do that, there would be an argument for almost keeping Bruce for another year or 18 months until players start to gel and you get some more in. But I think the new owners will probably want a new manager, and I couldn't disagree if the right man comes along. But fair play to Bruce this season. He's done, I thought we were relegation fodder, so he's proved me wrong and he's proved a few of us wrong.
Definitely. All right, cheers, mate.
Okay, cheers, mate.
Ciao.